Hello, my name is Gary Axamit. I help founders and investors with business plan ideation and execution in this world of 21st century black swan events. These are just my opinions. This is not investment advice or financial advice. I hope you like what you see here. If you do, follow me on TikTok or follow me on YouTube, and there's definitely more content. So I did a podcast a while back about politics, and I got some fireworks back on that. And so I decided that I wanted to drill into this a little bit deeper, because I don't really think people understand that, look, it's not cynicism when I say the politicians don't care about you. I lived it. I lived and worked in Washington, D.C. I was a lobbyist. I know these people. Their first and foremost calculation is their own financial gain and can they get reelected. And they're not going to touch a piece of legislation unless it does both of those things for them. And this is all an end product of Citizens United, because it's all about the bucks now. I will tell you that I will share with you that most people don't realize that there are dialer rooms in the basement of the House and Senate buildings on Capitol Hill, and senators and congressmen are expected to go there and spend hours of their week on the phone calling constituents and asking for money. And so what happened after Citizens United it was sort of a conflating of two things that happened that created a solution. So in social media, it didn't take very long for people to realize that the most bombastic, the most outrageous person on social media is going to get the most followers, and the most rational and the most logical person is going to be passed over, because who wants to hear that driveling shit? So you ended up with politicians who got to Capitol Hill, and you see people like Ted Cruz who used that social media mindset with his career when he first got to Capitol Hill. I realize a lot of people watching this are young, and probably too young to remember when Ted Cruz got to Capitol Hill, but he went in there and really threw a lot of bombs, played a lot of head games, got a lot of attention, and got himself positioned. Why he did that was he doesn't have to go to the dialer room. He can raise money. And that's why Mitch McConnell never really busted Ted Cruz's chops too bad, is because as long as Ted Cruz was bringing in money, it really didn't matter. Same thing applies to Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's a reason why they never censure Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's good for the party. She brings in money. They're expected to bring in several $1 million for their re-election campaign individually, and they're expected to bring in a substantial amount of money for the party. And so this, I think, will help you understand why the wackos are getting the most leverage on Capitol Hill and getting elected. But I want you to also realize you are being slow-walked. You are being slow-walked, and if you don't know what that means, go look it up. But you are being politically slow-walked. They know what's good for you. They know what they need to do for the American public. Capitol Hill is swimming with some of the smartest people in the world. If they really wanted to solve the problems that we're dealing with, they could solve these problems in a few months' time. It's not financially beneficial to them to solve the problems. We just had a presidential campaign, and you could throw in the down ballot campaigns as well. But if you look just at the presidential campaigns, there's $2 billion spent. There's probably another $1.5 billion spent collectively between all of the down ballot elections. That's all they think about. That's all they think about. Every hour of every day of their lives is spent thinking about raising more money, raising more money, raising more money. As a lobbyist, this is what I learned right out the gate, was you show up in a senator or a congressman's office, and they're going to want to know the policy that you're pushing. Have you done polling in their district to see if it's positive or negative for their reelection? And the next question is, what's in it for them? And so yeah, the public is being slow-walked. You're getting quintessential lip service. You're being told, yeah, we're fighting for you, we're fighting for you. They don't even, once the election's over, they don't even remember your name. And, you know, I'm sorry if this cuts a little bit deep for some people, but I lived it. I mean, I raised money. I'll tell you an interesting side story. About 15 years ago or more, I helped raise some money for a senator. You know, basically what I did was I picked up the phone, I called people and said, the senator's going to come to the community for a meeting, show up with a checkbook. Okay. The senator knew me very, very well. Her lobbyist, who went on to work for her in her cabinet after she was elected, were people that I did business with. And what was really interesting was a few years later, not very many, you know, 2-3 years later, I was in D.C. I was down in the basement of one of the Capitol Hill buildings. I was getting on the train. Another little interesting factoid, I don't know if people realize, but there is actually a small gauge train that goes all over Capitol Hill into the buildings. But anyway, and I saw this particular senator, and they got on one of the cars with me because they recognized some of the people that were with me. And I stuck my hand out to shake the senator's hand, and they looked at me kind of strangely, and they said, "Do I know you?" They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. And that whole "do I know you" is just part of the lip service, because they don't know you unless they've gotten a check from you lately. So don't get so wrapped up in watching politics and think that it has anything to do with you, because they don't care about you. They really don't. Okay, they're just as scared as you are. They're scared to death that if they don't make a pile of money, their kids are all going to end up working in a plantation work center someplace assembling cell phones and ceiling fans.